These are conversations where we're not supposed to have. Topics that make people shift in their seats. Subjects that end friendships. Ideas that can cost you your job, your reputation, and your peace of mind. They call them third rail issues. Touch them and you might not survive the shock. But what if the real danger isn't in having these conversations? What if the real danger is in staying silent? Welcome to the Third Rail. I am your host, Dr. Mark James, and this is where race, power, and truth collide. Let's get to it.
Yeah, I am that I am. Oh, I am that I am. Everything was manifested. They wondering how I do it. You wanna know how I do it? I am that I am. It's really that easy. Know who you are when you speak it. Lost in the phone and the TVs. Everything that shine ain't gold. God sees me just for who I am.
Welcome back to the Third Rail. I'm your host, Dr. Mark James. Before we go any further, let me tell you what this podcast isn't, and guess what it ain't. The Third Rail is not a debate show. We're not here to score points. There are no both sides our way through oppression. This is a space for dangerous dialogue, for the conversations happening in barbershops, beauty salons, in dorm rooms, and dinner tables all over this country, in quiet corners of our minds, where we dare to question everything. We're supposed to touch the third rail on purpose. Today's episode is why we're here. The origin of this podcast, the meaning behind the metaphor, and why creating a brave space matters more than creating a safe one. As Toni Morrison said, the function of freedom is to free someone else. We're not in this by ourselves. Let that resonate with you. Let it sit on your conscience. So what exactly is the third rail? In subway systems all over the world, New York, DC, Chicago, there are 3 rails that power the train. 2 carry the wheels, but the third one, that carries the power, the electricity, 600 volts of direct current. Touch it, and you'll be lucky to survive. In politics, the third rail has become shorthand for any issue so charged, so dangerous that touching it means career death, race, religion. These are some of the things that take away Social Security, war. But here's what I've noticed and decided. The things we're told not to talk about are usually the things that matter the most. They're usually the things that we need to talk about. Race is the ultimate third rail in America. We've been taught explicitly and implicitly that talking about race is impolite, uncomfortable, divisive. But the silence hasn't healed us. Avoidance hasn't united us. And pretending we're colorblind has only allowed systemic racism to flourish unchecked, like weeds. So we're going to touch this rail carefully, intentionally, but without flinching, without fear. Why we avoid uncomfortable truths in this country? Why do we avoid these conversations? For some of us, it's fear. Fear of saying the wrong thing, fear of being labeled a racist, fear of losing relationships, careers, and credibility. For others, it's exhaustion. The emotional labor of explaining oppression to people who benefit from it is real. And no one wants to be the perpetual educator. And for many, it's survival. When your safety, your housing, your livelihood depend on not making others feel uncomfortable, you learn to swallow the truth. But uncomfortable truths don't disappear. They fester like a wound. They metastasize. They surface in our politics, our policy, our policing, our prisons, our families. The unexamined wound doesn't heal. It becomes like gangrene. So we're going to examine the wound together. Let's first talk about brave space versus safe space. I want to make a distinction that defines the entire podcast. We're not building safe space. We're building brave space. Safe spaces matter. They allow rest, healing, safety, and relief, but brave spaces allow growth and transformation. Brave spaces acknowledge the growth requires discomfort, that learning requires challenge, that change requires courage. In a brave space, we don't promise you we won't be triggered. We promise you that when you are, we'll walk through it together. We don't promise comfort. We promise courage. So if you're ready to be brave, if you're ready to touch the third rail with us, welcome. You're in the right place. Welcome to the third rail.
Yeah, I am that I am. Oh, I am that I am. Everything was manifested. They wondering how I do it. You wanna know how I do it? I am that I am. It's really that easy. Know who you are when you speak it. Lost in the phone and the TVs. Everything that shine ain't gold. God sees me just for who I am.
Again, welcome back to the third rail. Let me tell you why I started this podcast. Not because I have all the answers, because guess what? I don't. Not because I'm the most qualified voice, because I'm not. I'm not. I started this because I was tired of the silence. Tired of service conversations that happen in the cigar shop. Tired of performative dialogue that happens in data. Tired of watching the same damn cycles repeat. Police violence, educational inequity, economic exploitation in our black neighborhoods, while everyone acted surprised every time. I want a space for truth, a space for complexity, a space where we could wrestle with questions without demanding easy answers. And I wanted voices that really get microphone. Not just scholars and activists, but everyday people living with these realities every day, every single day. This podcast is for the thinkers, the disruptors, the questioners, the ones who refuse to accept that the world must remain broken. As we close today, I want to leave you with some questions. No, not to answer immediately, but to carry, to journal, to discuss, to sit with. It's personal. What does it mean as to touch the third rail in your own life? What conversations are you avoiding and why? Why do certain truths remain taboo? Who benefits from our silence? You don't need answers yet. The action is where the transformation begins. This is the third rail. I am Dr. Mark James. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining us for episode 1 of the third rail. Next week, we're diving into one of the most uncomfortable conversations ever: white allyship, Pan-Africanism, and whether whiteness itself can or should be unlearned. It's called and titled Unlearning Whiteness, Allyship or Abandonment. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. If this episode moved you, challenged you in any kind of way, or stirred something within you, share it, like it, talk about it. This will be your place where we can build the brave space. We're creating together. We're going to move and grow together. We're going to have those conversations that can't be had anywhere else. I'm your host. This is the third rail, where race, power, and truth collide. See you next week. We're out.
You wanna know how I do it? I am that I. From the heights to the west coast, all this fake recognition gets old.